We'll continue on with some of the functional changes and how the menus are going to work a little differently. We have some new options to manage group menus. We have the ability to work with your layouts. Those of you that have been using Agility for years may have a number of different layouts. We have a new way of making those public and private so that they can be shared, and maybe things that have special data in them only one or two people need to see. Then we have a brand new concept that we're introducing to Agility called a console. The console gives us the ability to sit on an Agility grid and actually call Macola ES or Macola 10. And I'm going to show you order entry and POP today. And finally, I'm going to end up on this screen talking about exporting with a couple of options there. The way I've got it organized. So we are trying to respond here by giving you a way to create a batch menu open. So for instance, from an inventory standpoint, I really like this grid for the location master. So I'll open that one. I also like to look at the bin master. And I also like to go to the orders, and I want to see my order statuses and maybe my pick management. So these tabs, the way I have them organized right here, can be saved as a batch. So up here at the top under Menu, Groups, Maintenance, Capture, and the names. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this group as a batch. So what I'll do is I'll say Capture, and I'll say Orders. And I'll say that I want my order group to start up when I get going. So now I've got an order batch. At the same time, occasionally I work on the production orders. So I'm going to come down here under Production Order Processing, and I just want to see my POP master. I want to see POP pick tickets, and maybe the production view. So these three are my favorites for production. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to save those as manufacturing. But I'm not going to check startup, and I'm not going to do not close the existing ones when I open the other views. I'm just going to leave that alone. So now if I exit out of Agility, and I'll just leave, and I'll come back to my main desktop, you'll see that that group of screens is going to automatically open for me. And if I want to switch between them, makes it pretty easy to switch. There's manufacturing. And I've got my manufacturing group. Still have to execute to get a current filter because you want real-time data. But it makes it pretty easy to switch between a group of things that you do depending on which hat you wear. So I hope you're happy about that. Now we're going to do something a little more technical. I am going to go to this over here. I'm going to go to my favorites. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this particular view, which is this one right here, and I'm going to filter this. I want to see manufacturing items that are lotted and just part of one warehouse. So when I do that, if you're familiar with how grids work, we're going to build a little filter here at the bottom so you can see what you've got. Of course, you can edit it. You can see the different filter options. But what I want to do is I want to save this as a layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, and I'm going to do a save as, because this is the layout section under display. Save as, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type IM lot. And I'm just going to save it. All right. So the IM lot right now is available for everybody. When you create a brand new layout, it just is basically wide open. But under the display options, there's a security. So you'll see here under my layouts, I've got the one open that I've been talking about, the IM lot layout. It's the same one as this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on security. So here's my IM lot layout. And I'm going to assign that to Brad and Bob. I'll just close it. So there it is. It's on my layout. It's one of my layouts. If I do a Control-R, it will refresh this list. So again, I'm logged in as Bob. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up another workstation. So this particular workstation is just another networked PC on my network. You can see here that I'm pointing to my active server. I'm at the same company, but this time I'm Brad. So now Brad really is using this public layout just like everybody else. And if I come back over to here to my managing machine, and I come up and I click on security, layout, and this time I'm going to take Brad off the list. So if I come back here and refresh, it disappears. And this will work with roles. It works with individual assignment, and it makes it pretty convenient to roll things out to different users. And again, if you combine the power of what I'm showing you with the ability to change users down here, you can actually do a change user by clicking on the user here if you are the admin. So WiSys has different levels of security, and if you are the admin person, then you can actually kind of take over and look at what somebody's screens are going to look like. So those are public and private layouts. Okay, I'm going to shut a few things down here. And I am going to come over one of my favorites. So I have a favorites group here, and I have the OE order console. And it's just one of the new components we've added under order processing. So here is OE order console. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is we're going to blend Macola client-server technology with our desktop client-server technology. So here at the top, we have some new tabs, Order tab and Inventory tab. So when I'm on the Order tab, I have a ribbon bar options with that, and when I'm on the Inventory tab, they switch to Inventory. And again, we have a library of about 150 different Macola calling screens that you can just add to your screens as you need them. So if I am on a booked order versus a different status order like 9, you'll notice that things like edit, I can't edit an invoiced order. But if I'm on a booked order, a brand new order with all these line items, I could actually edit this order. So now I can actually pull up Macola order entry. For a long time, people have asked us, can't you do order entry with agility? And we thought, why reinvent the wheel? Macola order entry is pretty fast, and why not combine it with what you do to organize your orders and do things quickly? So I can actually come in and change this particular order. So if I want to double click on this, I can change that to 10, ship 10, Save, exit. You'll notice as soon as I do the refresh on the screen, it'll change that line item for me. So it does need a refresh there. If I'm actually on this item on the order, I can actually come up here and I could, actually edit this item if I wanted to get to the item edit capability, which is kind of nice. So many times when I prep for doing a presentation, I can just sit in this application and do the whole thing, and I don't even have to open the normal Macola client server application. When I am calling Macola screens, you definitely have to be a Macola user. So we're not bypassing the Macola license at all. So depending on what you want to pull together in your environment may take some additional licensing. So that's really the order entry option. If I'm on this particular order and I want to look at the customer's card, I can pull that up. And I need to flip the switch there to go back to the legacy one if I want to pull up that. It was trying to pull up the web one. But these different applications here for post invoices and things like that are available. The idea is to combine screens together, giving people the power to do their job without having to Alt-Tab to death. Let's switch down to POP. So here we have a POP order console. So when I'm on my POP console, just as you'd expect, you can come in here and edit a POP order. You could come in and change the release date if you want. Save it, refresh it, and there you go. And it follows other rules. If the order's in process or released, you can't change certain things. So depending on what you need to do, maybe you want to change the release due date on an order, you would just add a little SQL behind the screen and you can change your order dates. As long as you know what's happening in the background and how it might affect your MRP and some of the other things, what if it has dependents, there's many different rules you might want to think about. But the idea here again is you can begin to combine WiSys technology and Macola technology on one screen. Notice we have an order release. There's some buttons here for order release, being able to change the statuses on orders and things like that. So trying to give you some new power here. This does work with Macola ES 9.6 and above and Macola 10, the current edition, any of the current editions, but it doesn't work with progression. We were not able to get that to work for this release. Finally, I want to take a look at the export function. So for a long time, you've been able to export to Excel, but as many people said, why do you only export to XLS? We need XLSX. So we want different formats. And we also added the ability to format to a PDF. So you just click that, save, give it a name, open it, and now you have your Excel data. Just whatever's on the screen comes back to you. So if you've filtered something in Agility, it will filter it as it exports it to Excel for you. And the PDF works pretty much the same, but you really need a smaller group of fields on the screen to get it to format, and because you can't really resize a PDF like you can Excel. Okay, those are the things I wanted to cover with the functional change.